Hello and welcome back to 100 Yards of Football Sports Talk Radio. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and joining me to talk about the Tennessee Vols early recruiting class for 2022 is our host, Mr. Logan Landers. How's it going, man?
What's up, Jeremiah? I'm right. It's recruiting season now, man. The season's coming to an end, and you know what that means. Me and you each week breaking down some great recruiting classes. We got the Vols this week. We just did the Georgia Bulldogs, so we're keeping it in the SEC. And man, I can't wait to see talk about these Vols and how they're going to be, what they're going to produce on the field, and just how good I think they're going to be for the Vols in the near future. I'm ready for it.
Absolutely. And for everybody watching at home on YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, or listening on our podcast, thank you so much. And thank you so much for all your organic shares and telling all your friends and family about 100 Yards of Football. You know, it's because of you that we're able to do these breakdowns. It's because of you that our dude, Mr. Logan Landers, gets his gumption up, does his research, and goes through all of these players just so that you know exactly what's going on with the Tennessee recruiting class. So, Mr. Landers, without further ado, please break down the early recruits for Tennessee recruiting for 2022.
All right, so these are all of the hard commits for Tennessee. They have 18 in total. As a class right now, they're 18th ranked nationally, 8th in the SEC. So overall, a very good year. Last year, they have improved on where they were last year in terms of recruiting. So that is always good to see. But let's break it down. So all 18 of these guys we can talk about and where I think they're going to be for the Vols. All right, up first, we have Christian Harrison from Woodward Academy in Atlanta, Georgia, cornerback. 6 foot, 183, three-star recruit. The 98th ranked in his position, 102nd in the state. Just committed about a week or two ago. So we have a brand new Vol here, ready to see how Mr. Harrison can do out of Atlanta, Georgia. We're going to be rooting for him to see how he does for the Vols. Up next, we have Brian Grant from Choctawhatchee High School in Fort Walton Beach, Florida. I'm sure Bobby Butler's going to text me later saying I butchered that, but hey, it is what it is. Offensive tackle, 6'6", 278, three-star recruit, 72nd in his position, 108th in the state, committed in May. So we'll see what the young man can do. Already has a good frame around him, and we'll see what he can do and how he can protect the quarterback for near future. Up next is Jordan Thomas from Montgomery Catholic Preparatory High School in Montgomery, Alabama. Safety, 6'2", 190 pounds, three-star recruit, 63rd in his position, 31st in the state of Alabama. Just committed about a week ago, Jeremiah, on December the 4th of 2021. So a brand new Vol. Happy to see what he's going to do here. And we'll see how he can help out that defense because they need a little bit of help. And hopefully Jordan Thomas can help be a solution to that problem. Up next is Masai Reddick from Cass Technical High School by way of Detroit, Michigan. Offensive tackle, 6'4.5", 330 pounds. Good frame on him already. 67th in his position, 21st in the state. Committed back in July of 2021. Already has a very good frame. I like the 6'4", 4.5", 6'5", depending on a good day, 330. So we'll see what he can do. We'll see how his footwork is, how his blocking can be. But overall, I think it's a good pickup for him, especially as a lower recruit. I like the way they got him. Up next is Khalid Perry from Great Crossing High School in Georgetown, Kentucky. Linebacker, 6'3.5", 215 pounds, three-star recruit, 75th ranked in his position, and 6th in the state of Kentucky. They're probably going to ask him to maybe gain a little bit of weight for the linebacking position, but we will see. So he must have some speed at 215, you would hope, and we'll see what he can do. Coming up next is Maurice Clipper Jr. from Milton High School in Alpharetta, Georgia. Offensive lineman, 6'4", 300 pounds, three-star recruit, 35th in his position, 68 in the state. Committed back in July also. So I think that this young man is going to be a good player. Hopefully, we want all the guys from Georgia to do good. Doesn't matter what part of Georgia you're from. If you go to Georgia, if you go to a different college, we want you to succeed, and we want you to have a good career. So hopefully, Mr. Maurice Clipper Jr. can do that as an interior offensive lineman. Coming up next is Elijah Herring from Riverdale High School in Murfreesburg, Tennessee. A linebacker, 6'2.5", 230, three-star recruit, looking good. 68th in his position, 21st in the state. They are, as you can see, Jeremiah, they're going very offensive line, defensive heavy. So they know what they're going for, and so far I think they're doing a really good job of filling some holes they need to get fixed. Up next, we have Jordan Phillips, defensive lineman from Ocoee High School by way of Ocoee, Florida. 6'2", 300, three-star recruit, 87th ranked in his position, and 87th also in the state of Florida. So another big defensive lineman here. They're not shying away from what they're going for, and I think Phillips is a good pickup at 6'2", 300. Already got a good frame. I can't wait to see him get some sacks and get some good tackles for loss. Up next, we have Chaz Nimrod from Bentonville High School by way of Bentonville, Arkansas. Wide receiver, 6'2.5", 181, three-star recruit, 75th in his position and 7th in the state of Arkansas. So they're going a little bit around, right? They're not just sticking around to the Georgias and Alabamas. They went, as I said earlier, they're going to Michigan, they're going to Arkansas. So they're not afraid to venture out and get some guys from different states. So we'll see what Mr. Nimrod can do here. And I think that he'll have a good career as a wide receiver. And joining him at the wide receiving position is the next recruit, Marquise White from Clay Chalkville High School in Pinson, Alabama. Wide receiver, 5'10", 155, three-star recruit, 72nd in this position, 23rd in the state. 155, man, he's got to have some wheels to him. They're probably going to ask him to get a little bit of weight on him because it probably looks like a twig. But I think once he gets a little bit of muscle, gets some good cafeteria food in there, I think he'll be set for some good days as a Vol. Back on the defense side of the ball now, we have Desmond Williams from Decatur, Mississippi. Went to East Central Community College. So he's coming over to the big boys, 5'11", 190. And, man, coming over from community college, he was highly touted. Three-star recruit, but he is 5th ranked nationally, 1st in his position, and 2nd in the state. So that lets you know he did some good work at community college to be ranked that high, and now he's going to come and transfer that over to the Vols. I can't wait to see what this young man's going to do. He just committed last week on December the 6th. So we'll see what he can do. But I think that getting a guy we've seen a lot of guys come over from community college. Sometimes that's a good route to go. You got to start there to get to Tennessee, to get to some of the better schools in college. And that's what this young man did. He put in the work, and I'm excited to see how it's going to pay off for him in the near future. Up next, we're going back to the offense. We have Brody Foley from Anderson High School by way of Cincinnati, Ohio. Tight end, 6'5.5", 236, three-star recruit, 25th in his position, 16th in the state. Committed back in May. So another good recruit here. They're getting some tight ends. They're getting some wide receivers. They're trying to get that receiving core back on top. And I think by getting Mr. Foley, that's a good start. And like I said, to keep that offense flowing, they got a running back up next. Dylan Sampson from Dutchtown High School out of Gizmer, Louisiana. 5'9", 180, three-star recruit, 34th in his position, 19th in the state. Committed back in July. Good guy here, 180. He's got to have a little bit of speed, you would think. And I'm excited to see what this young man's going to do. Is he going to be more of a power back, more of an elusive back? Looks like me, a little bit more of elusive, juke you out your shoes type of deal with that 180 frame, but you never know. He could surprise me. We'll see what he can do. Up next, we have Cameron Miller from Memphis Academy of Health Sciences in Memphis, Tennessee. Wide receiver, 6'1", 195, three-star recruit, 60th in his position, 15th in the state. Back in July is when he committed to be a Tennessee Volunteer. So he's staying in Tennessee out of Memphis. So we'll see what he can do. You know, he's excited to play for the Vols and play for his home team, his hometown, I'm sure, and ready to get some good work. Up next, we're going to Georgia, North Cobb High School zone out of Kennesaw. Joshua Joseph, edge rusher, 6'3", 215, four-star recruit, our first four-star on the board here. 25th in his position, 34th in the state. Shout out to North Cobb High School, man. They produce some absolute athletes over there. And Joshua Josephs is going to be another one, I think. And speaking of Georgia recruits, we have another one. This one's only about 45 minutes away from me, actually. At McEachern High School, by way of Powder Springs, Georgia, we have Caleb Webb, the wide receiving prospect, 6'2.5", 185, four-star recruit, 48th in his position, 30th in the state of Georgia. Committed just a few days ago on December the 10th. So one of the newest recruits here. Happy to see him on the Vols, ready to see him rocking the orange, looking good at kneeling. And we'll see what we can do at the receiving corps. As a four-star recruit, obviously they got a lot of hype around him, and I can't wait to see how he's going to do for the Tennessee Vols. All right, we got the final two here. Up next, we have the quarterback, Taven Jackson from Center Grove High School by way of Greenwood, Indiana. So I think that this young man, you know, he's got some offers from Arizona State, from Arkansas, from Auburn. So he had a few good recruits in mind, a few good schools who wanted him. But ultimately, in the end, it was the Vols who he wanted to go to, take his talents there. And I think he got a good one because we know that Tennessee, their quarterback situation, they're trying to still figure it out. It's not set in stone. And I think that by getting a new recruit And by really, really going in there and getting guys, especially from Indiana, I think he's going to have a good career. Like I say, he's got some good numbers to him. He's got some good rankings, but he is the number 2 ranked in this recruiting class. Let's go to number 1. Big shout out to Addison Nichols from Greater Atlanta Christian School in Norcross, Georgia, the number 1 ranked recruit for the Tennessee Volunteers, interior offensive lineman, 6'5", 318 pounds, 4-star recruit, 4th in his position, 13th in the state, 123rd ranked national player, committed back in August, and he had a lot of teams wanting to snatch him up and play for them. I'm seeing the Florida Gators, I'm seeing the Georgia Bulldogs, the Ohio State Buckeyes, and the USC Trojans. So this young man was coveted. A lot of schools wanted him, and I don't blame him. At 6'5", 318, and a 4-star recruit, hey, I think the Vols got a future star here on the offensive line. I can't wait to see what he's going to do, as well as the rest of these recruits. I think overall, Tennessee got a very good draft, or a very good recruiting class. They went heavy with offensive linemen, with defensive linemen. So they're really trying to help build out their defense and fill a few holes there on offense. But I think overall, a great recruiting class for the Vols. No 5-stars this year, unfortunately, but they got a few 4-stars. So I think that, we say it all the time, even though you're not ranked a 5-star recruit in high school, coming out of high school, doesn't mean you're a bad player. It's just people looking at stats and looking at stuff like that. But hey, they got some good players. I can't wait to see how all the young 3-stars are going to do, see which ones come up from out of the ranks and really surprise us, and how the big guys are going to do, the highly recruited ones, and how they're going to perform for the Vols in the upcoming future. I'm excited.
Yeah, and I couldn't be more excited. I mean, this is where I grew up. I was there during the hot season in '98, seeing some incredible seasons right after that too, just really incredible and having a great time. And so for the Tennessee Vols, this is what I've been waiting for several years, is a couple of good years of recruiting classes to start to build up behind a system that can let these Tennessee Vols come in and play 4 solid quarters of football and compete in the SEC. And just competing in the SEC is my first hope and my first, mission, because if you're competing in the SEC and competing well, you're already one of the top teams in the nation. So I love that, and I want to see the Tennessee Vols get back to that stature that they had in the late 90s, early 2000s, where they were just one of the most dominant teams, and every year they were going head-to-head with the best. They were going head-to-head with the Alabamas and Georgias and Floridas, at the time, that were also very dominant, and I just want to see that level again. So thank you so much for breaking that down. That gives me a good insight into where things are coming from, what kind of players we have coming into the game, and what I have to look forward to for the next season with Josh Heupel. I'm pretty excited, honestly. So for everybody watching, tell us, what do you think? What is the best thing about the Tennessee recruiting class coming up, and what really excites you about it? And if you're listening to our podcast, thank you so much. But if you're not listening to our podcast, come and join us. We broadcast live every single week. We are 100 Yards of Football on Spotify, on Apple Podcast, or anywhere that you listen to podcasts. And we just love having, all these episodes and enjoying it together and sending you all this great information. We love to keep you company while you're going about your day, whether it's in your morning rush to get things together and get in your car and drive to your workplace, or whether you work from home during your day, during your lunch break, and you're on your drive back home, or when you're just chilling out in your office at night at your house. We're going to be here for you, and we are going to keep you company. We keep it calm. We keep it about the players and about the games. And, that's our job, is to bring you the most informative sports show that we possibly can. So we do that, and we deliver every single week because of our amazing team, including our host, Mr. Logan Landers, our founder, Vincent Turner, 12-time NFL veteran, Bobby Butler, and our coaching expert, Kevin the Bull Jones. We come to you every single week with this incredible team so that we can show you and showcase the best for you. So you've been watching our breakdown of the early commits for Tennessee with our host, Logan Landers. I'm your producer, Jeremiah Long, and we'll be back this evening with another live episode.